Hey, listen, I'm gonna hold my little mic right here because my little clip fell off. Ooh, it's all good. Listen.
I don't have no insurance in here, so you're on your own.
Come on now, we good. We family, so we family. Hey, welcome to the 5 minutes with Five. Man, let me tell y'all this right here. I've been trying to get this interview for a couple years now. You know what I'm saying? I done took her to the comedy shows. I done did all this other stuff. Done seen her, man. She got two of the best sons on earth. And just to be able to be here today, man, I can go ahead and do the bow right here. You know what I'm saying? I can bow.
Thank you.
What's going on, sis? Well, first, tell everybody the name of the business and a little bit who you are. Then I'm gonna get into this whole thing the way I do it.
Okay, so this particular business.
Ooh, hold up. Look at it. She gonna come show out. How she gonna show out on me like that? Oh, no, this particular one, G. You know I got about 9 of them.
This is Eyelash a Lot, and this is one of Houston and Pearland's premier eyelash.
No. See, it is the premiere. It's not.
It is the
y'all saw it when I walked up, man. Don't act like we ain't over in the hood and sitting there with the bar. Ain't no bars on the window, nothing like that. Man, stop. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is Houston's premier eyelash.
There we go. I like that better.
Studio. Much love to my fellow artists because there's some great ones.
They some great ones out here, and I appreciate them too.
Yes.
But this right here is the premiere one. I'm sorry.
I
got to put it right here.
I thank you.
Hey, tell the people how we met.
So we met through one of my mutual girlfriends. I told her that I needed some transportation, and this is also a jack of all the trades.
No, I don't be doing that.
And she said, "Oh, I know a fantastic person, owns his own transportation company, and I booked my own comedy show, and I wanted to pull up as if I was pulling up to Madison Square Gardens." And he came through with the pimped out truck for us, and we've been riding ever since.
Ever since, man. Just good. Sometimes you just get around good people, man. You know it, and I got home. Spoiler alert: she about to be in Two Families, my movie right here. So we be shooting some scenes next week. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be seeing the movie drop here at the end of the month. But anyway, so we in there, and little man gonna be in it too.
And little man,
you can't have him right here. He's man, her little son, the little one. He's so smart, man. That so intelligent. Because I remember he went to the one time we dropped him off at a birthday party or something? No, he had a birthday party. Well, we didn't go to the birthday party too now.
Yes,
you gonna forget that one.
He had a birthday party and we went out the movie theater and he did his birthday.
They be fancy too.
They
fancy, y'all.
Ooh. His birthday is 11/11/11. That's when Wakanda dropped.
Come on now.
And so we had an African themed party for him.
They did the Wakanda thing downtown and it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yes.
But anyway, this is really 5 minutes with Five is really to highlight the individual.
Yes.
You really are someone that's about business. And it's not just about the comedy thing, like you have so many things that's going on.
Yes.
What really kind of got you into that?
I've always had a entrepreneur spirit. My mom found some cards that I made when I was like 12 years old. And it was called, we laughed about it over the holidays.
Well, shout out to your mama too now.
Yes,
don't act like I don't know mama too. I know mama too now. I know them all out there.
It was called Crystals, Things, and Stuff. And I was selling Mary Kay under my neighbor and just always had a kind of hustler spirit.
Right.
And it really took form about 11, almost 10 years ago when I lost my husband.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I became the sole provider for my children. So it really, really kind of put my feet to the ground. Right. Although I've had this business for almost 20 years, but that really kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. But you know what? I know it puts you out of your comfort zone, but you have a strength that's really definitely seen. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things I definitely want to commend you on.
Thank you.
Because one, in the passing of your husband and everything like that, you really put it together, sister.
Yeah.
You put it together. You know what I'm saying? You had your boys and you didn't let none of that waver. Yeah. Whatever was going on with them for that time period, you continued to do that. And you're raising some great young men. And luckily I'm going to be talking to one of them here, you know what I'm saying, a little later on or whatever. But I just really want to take my hat off to you.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to try to bring up no sad times.
Yeah, no, definitely. I appreciate it because, it's so many people who are just struggling,
Right.
And I had to share with a friend not too long ago. She was like, she lost her husband about 4 months ago, and she's like,
right.
4 years ago, I'm sorry. And she's like, friend, I don't know how you kept it together. And I told her, I said, let's just be honest. We post the good things on social media.
Right.
Nobody posts when they're crying in the parking lot when they drop their kids off to school. But what I've committed is that God is faithful to us, and I didn't have a blueprint for it.
Right.
When I did it, I just knew that I needed to keep going and that my kids deserve the best of me, regardless of what experiences had happened to us.
And you give it.
Yeah.
I can't even say gave it. You give it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
You know, when I see that your son, he loves his mama. Both of them love their mama.
Yes.
But I'm telling you what, your big boy.
Yeah.
Listen, the boy don't play when it comes to his mama. You get what I'm saying? That man will get home quick.
Me and
You know
him
what I'm
have
saying?
been
He
through
will
some-
get home quick.
Yes.
You know, and I love your relationship because it reminds me and my mother. You know, I would say I was my mother's hard little baby.
Yeah.
She was learning a lot.
Yeah.
And she went through a lot.
Yeah.
During the time period, you know what I'm saying, that I was coming up. And we almost came up together, and she was my rock, and I was her rock, and
That's it.
And so it created a bond that is really people can't understand.
Can't understand
You know
it,
what I'm
and it's a
saying?
blessing because, you know, we talk all the time. You know, he's 20 now, and I'm
Right.
21, so we really have a lot.
Hey, no, shout out that right there. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say 18.
That-
You know what I'm saying? But
I
but he
just
was
had to
20,
at
so I
least
couldn't.
be a
I
year
couldn't
older
get,
than
I couldn't
him.
get 2 years younger than him. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do that.
But you know, he remembers when we used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had 3 jobs.
Come
you
on
know,
now. Three-
and that-
3 B's?
3 jobs. I had 4 hours off in 24 hours.
Come on.
And so I had a job, thankfully, that I could, hate to say sleep on, but they knew the circumstances,
Right.
you know, and so they would kind of text me if they needed me to do something, and that was it. But it was a time there for about 3 to 4 years that I worked 3 jobs.
What?
Yeah, and I didn't really take care of myself because the priority was my kids, you know.
right.
So we talk about that. You know, my youngest son, he kind of gets the, you know, he gets what we call the good life, if
Of
you
course,
will. But
of
he,
course.
you know, he gets the chances. He doesn't know the struggles that we
Right.
went through, and you know, I think it was better for both me and my oldest son because, you know, he's a man now, and he
Yeah.
gets to see I can live life in 2 different changes,
Right.
and sometimes, you know, it's not necessarily because of decisions, you know,
Definitely.
that you're dealt a playing card hand, but you know, it lets you know. I tell them in life, you know, we got choices. We can laugh or we can cry. We can live or we can die.
Come on now.
You know, and our choices will take us either down one of those paths.
Right.
You know, so I choose to laugh and live, and that don't mean you're not gonna cry and want to die.
I know that's right.
But you know, my goal is to laugh and live as much as possible.
Right. So what are some of the techniques that you use to even get through some of those time periods? You know, just knowing, like, I know you would have those times you probably sitting in the bed when you was working multiple jobs like that, and but you knew them boys over there in that other room over there.
Yeah.
Like, what were some of the techniques that you used to kind of get you through that process, which could possibly help somebody? That's what I'm asking.
I have a scripture two scriptures that I live by mostly, and one of them is Deuteronomy 33, and I think it's 18. But the scripture says, "My shoes shall be made of iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall my strength be." And I just ask God every day for my vision to. I want to weep like him. I want to cry like him. I want to live like him. I want to think like him. I want to be like him. And that gave me a spirit of being, it's okay to be sad, but it's a difference to be hopeless. And so I never got to the point where I was hopeless, thank God. And I think that's where people kind of make the transition to, you know, go to life will have you out here lifing. You know what I mean?
As simple as that, lifing.
Yeah, to have you out here
Right.
lifing, you know. And so for me, I always said, you know, as long as I'm not hopeless and I'm, you know, helpless, yes, I can be helpless, you know, and that's when you reach out for people to help you and family and your network of people.
Right.
But hopeless is a bad place to be.
It's definitely
It's a bad place to be.
So now, comedy. Out of all things, where did comedy come from?
I am a 2 different. I always call myself bipolar in the sense of, but I don't mean bipolar like traditional, so I probably need to find another word. But I am extremely serious and focused, and then I am extremely crazy and funny, and I like to laugh and have a good time.
Right.
And I grew up in a household of just funny people. My grandmother being, you know, she used to just say, you know, stuff. And I remember her used to say, you know, saying like, "Oh, baby, if things don't start picking up, I'm gonna have to start picking up things." So I would say that, and people would be like, "What are you talking about?" You know. And so I've always kind of had a propensity to be very funny, but I took comedy as kind of a way to wipe away pain. So I'm the person that if you at a funeral, don't look at me.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna make connections. It's gonna get real silly.
Right.
And it's not that I'm not taking the moment serious, but I've had a lot of trauma in my life, and so in order to survive a lot of the things that I did, I had to make some type of way out of it, and for me it was to just laugh about it.
Man, that's a beautiful thing, right? I think you funny as I don't know what. And I get, you know, I'm like, what's she gonna do nothing special? What's she gonna do special? Where's she gonna be at? You know?
Yes.
But I understand, you know, you got a lot of things going on.
Yes.
And so you have to do the thing. Little man, he's just a little genius running around here. So I know he's in every activity on earth.
Yes.
You know, and I know a lot of times, you know, you heading out to see your son play and make things happen, and I love that relationship, that dynamic that y'all have, that support system. And I can probably feel some of the things that he's probably going to say when I do talk to him, because to me it's powerful.
Yeah.
Like y'all's connection is powerful.
Yes.
I watched it when I would see y'all in the back of the van, just kind of see the exchange, and your son always has a smile on his face.
Yes.
That's what I love about him.
Yes.
He always has a smile, and I like it because he's really a man.
Yes.
And a man in this way, and I know that's part of his tag or whatever.
Yes.
But he's able to be mature.
Yes.
And private.
Yeah.
And I love that.
He had to grow up at a very young age. His dad was 8 when he died. And you know, I always laugh because when I first had him, I'm like, I don't see how people have 2 or 3 children.
Right.
You know, I like to think I'm my mom's favorite child.
Right.
And I'm the last one, so I was like, girl, you finally got it right, you know. But I never thought about having another kid because I'm like, I know that I can't love anybody any more than this. Right. My husband always wanted a big family. And so when we finally decided to have the younger kid, he dies a year later. You know, and so with that, I'm like, oh, this ain't what I planned for. You know, and I remember him at and he probably didn't even remember this, when my husband was alive, I'd asked him, I said, Cullen, can you go get a bottle? The baby was crying. Right. And he went and got the bottle, and then I asked him for something else, and then he went and got that. So he comes by and he stands by the bed, and he was like, what is y'all playing like with this baby? In other words, quit asking me to do stuff. But this is not what I had in mind.
I got it. I get a remote control.
But you do it too much. But when my husband passed, I asked him, it's kind of a couple of weeks later, I said, Cousin, when you go get the bottle, when you go get your brother's bottle, and he brought the bottle and he walked out the room and he came back and he said, anything else I need to do for you, Mom? You know, so it was kind of like innately, he immediately took on this role, like, I gotta be there for my mom. You know, so it's like we just been riding ever since, you know?
Y'all be riding.
Yeah.
So now, I do want to ask this question right here. Where you from?
Originally born and raised Houston.
Born and raised Houston.
Born and raised Houston,
yep. So you went to all the schools in your area?
I was Miss Madison in 97.
That's not playing Miss Madison. You know what I'm saying? The fight Eagles.
Clark forever. Marlins.
The Marlins. I got the wrong animal and everything, but we did a thing like that.
Went to school, middle school in 3rd Ward. I went to Ryan Middle School. Yes. So I know everybody around this place.
See, one of your scene mates, you know what I'm saying? She's from 3rd Ward. So it's gonna work Queenie. That's where she's from. 3rd Ward, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's so cool. When did you and your husband meet, if you don't mind me asking?
Who was that?
You and your husband. What did y'all
At
meet?
Ross. We were going to a Labor Day class.
She said it like that, at Ross.
Because my son,
she said it. At Ross.
I tell my son all the time, I was like, you know, I didn't realize this was probably early stalking before it became stalking.
Shout out to stalking. Ross, what you gonna see? You talking Ross? You talking like Ross?
Ross.
Listen, Target, Ross, H-E-B.
While y'all trying to go to Cheesecake Factory and steak for there, you better go to Ross.
You hit Ross and H-E-B. That's what he had.
I was in Ross and I kept seeing this guy. My husband was tall like my son, and he just followed me around the store. And I was like, why does this dude keep following me around the store?
Was he handsome?
They look like twins.
Well, I know he do, but I'm trying to say for the people that don't know. So basically, when you looked over there, you like.
I was like, I kind of was like, he cute, but he don't look like nobody used to date. He's kind of look dangerous looking. So we were just walking around the store. I'm telling you, never is what you think you're gonna end up with. And
come on now.
He's like, where you going? And I'm like, what you mean where I'm going? I was trying to find something to wear to a Labor Day Classic. And he was like, I'm gonna go too. He had just literally came to Houston probably about a year ago from Louisiana, and he was like,
"Oh, he from the Lou?
I'm going too."
He was from Louisiana.
He was Louisiana.
From Louisiana, old country boy guy.
Mississippi, Louisiana.
Old country boy. That's how we do. Them country boys. I'm trying to tell y'all,
Every time.
country boys every time. Y'all better stop sleeping on us.
And he said, I'm gonna meet you there. And I was like, okay. And he took my phone. He was like, can I see your phone?
Oh,
he called me from his number.
That's a true country boy.
He got me. He got me.
Cullen, you pay attention to all this right here, man? I'm trying to tell you, man. This
Free
is
game.
Player right here.
And he called like an hour later. Hey, we were at the Astrodome. And I was like, what? You know, and I'm like, okay. And didn't pay attention.
Right.
And we walking around, doing our tour around the dome, how we used to do. And I see him. And I'm like,
So hold on, he just happened to stick out, or you were looking for him?
No, I was actually running from him because I'm like, what kind of person want to go out on a date with you 30 minutes? Like, I'm going somewhere.
That man know what you want.
He told me that day, he said, we're going to be together forever.
There you go.
Yep.
Yes.
And he was not.
Let me tell you something about a country boy. Country boys don't do a bunch of chasing. They don't be chasing nobody.
Yep.
If they lock in on you, it ain't stalking.
Yeah.
It just mean they know what they want.
Yep.
Oh, that's what I want right there.
Yep.
We don't have time
And
for
that's
these
it,
games.
that's all.
This is what I want right here. I see it.
Yeah.
Got that man all around, running around everywhere.
The Astrodome. That part.
So how long y'all date before y'all locked it in?
I don't think we never, from that day, we was together ever since.
What?
Yeah. So we was together ever since.
See, that's a beautiful thing right there.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
He was a lot like, him and my older son have a lot of the same personality. Okay. My younger son and I have the same, very outgoing. Right. My older son, he just quiet. He observes a lot. You know, he ain't really got to be in the mix like that. Right. But he is like one of the most best-hearted people that you'd ever encounter. And we was each other's balance, and he used to just laugh. I would just remember him holding his face, just crying, because I don't think when we first, he was like, "Man, you are sick." He used to say that all the time. Right. He would laugh, because when he met me, I was very serious, and so once he kind of got me out of my element.
So you the one that didn't play?
Yeah.
You the sister that didn't play?
No.
You give people the business?
Yes.
I know you still got it in you. I know you still got it in you.
Yeah.
But
I've learned that I'm a very loyal person, and I take loyalty to a level that probably most people don't even brush the surface of, but they say. Right. So I'm like, if you got me on your team, you got me on your team.
You got a winner.
You got, and that's with anything, friendship, business. I'm on your team, and I'm gonna ride for you. And sometimes even to my own detriment sometimes, so that's what I'm learning. It's like, I tell my son all the time, I said, in my older age, I'm learning, no good deed goes unpunished.
You right on that.
But, you just keep moving from your heart.
And you never change who you are.
And you never change who you are.
Yep. People are going to take advantage instead of taking advantage.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's what I, and I'm a Libra, right? And we kind of, I think, we kind of loyal people.
Absolutely.
We ride for you,
we ride for you.
We mess with you, we mess with you.
Yeah, and if
nobody
we don't,
gonna sway us.
We don't.
If we ever stop,
it's like we
might
never
well go
mention
ahead
our
and
world.
because we don't go back.
Yep,
and that's probably my flaw. My flaw is, and I know it's my flaw.
Yeah,
I don't go back.
Yeah,
and it's just what it is.
Because it's hurtful. It's hurtful, but it's life.
You know what I'm saying? So from the comedy aspect, when did you start taking it serious? I know, they say you crazy, this right here, but when did you take it serious and say, I'm about to go out here and grab a mic?
So crazy how it happened. One of my really, really good friends, her name is AJ.
Shout out to AJ.
AJ.
She sounds like she's fine too, but go ahead. Shout out to AJ.
She the truth now. But it just talks about how God will make room for you and people will speak on your behalf. And I met AJ probably about maybe 10 years ago. How long? Maybe about 10 years ago. And her family's on the AAU team that we played on. My son played basketball too growing up. And we just became like, she was a single mother raising her children. I was a single mother raising my children. And so we just kind of connected. And we just kind of connected in a sense of, just true friendship.
Right.
And she always she just laugh. She's quiet, so she'll always just laugh. And she'd be like, "Girl, you are crazy." And she always say, "You missed your calling."
Right.
So fast forward a couple of years later, her brother hosts a women's brunch at 13. I think we were at 13 then. And B. Simone was there. And B. Simone, my friend AJ just walks up to me and B Simone and I, she kind of pulled me towards B Simone. And
Right.
she says, this girl is funny. You need to let her open up for you. And I'm
Just
looking
like
oh, that's cute, And just like that, B Simone said, oh, I got a show next month in Baltimore. You should come open up for me. And I was like, oh, that's real cute. I'm like, this must be what Hollywood is like. People just say nice stuff in front of people. And she kind of reached out to me later, and she was like, no, I was serious.
Are you serious?
And she,
that's why I like that girl.
Yeah.
And I never knew why I like B.
when
Simone,
I tell you good people.
but I cause she seemed genuine. I watched one interview with her. And she just sounded like she was just so.
She is, and
I wonder if she's really like that. How people be doing that.
Yeah. No, she is. She gave me her phone number, and I thought, when I dialed this phone number, it's gonna be like Mike
The
Jones'
Easter bunny.
old phone number, 281-3308. And she texts me. She's like, "No, this is the information. Pull up. This is where it's gonna be. This is what time you need to be there. This is where I'm staying. If you want to stay where I'm staying, And I was just like, if I get to this place, and this lady, it just didn't seem real to me.
Okay.
I just didn't think that it would be there. And so my friend is asking me, she's like, you gonna do it? You need to pull up, and you need to pull up. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay. And I've never been one to back down from anything. So I'm like, cool. Well, my oldest son had gone to some of the events they had later that evening. So it's like a whole weekend of JH Town stuff. So he'd gone to something in some kind of way. Him and B Simone starts talking, and she's like, yeah, I met your mom, and she gonna come do some comedy, open up for me. So that's when it gets tricky for me, because my son comes home and tells me like, hey, I met B Simone, and she said you gonna do comedy or something for her,
Right.
And so it puts me on the spot, because I'm always telling my kids to seize every opportunity. So when I get the opportunity, I can't go like, ooh, no, mama not gonna take full advantage of this opportunity, because, then what messages is sending to them. So, my little one, he hears a conversation, he brings he gets like a composition notebook, and he writes Mommy's Funny Book. So I'm like, oh shit, so I'm thinking to myself, as this is getting closer and closer and closer, I'm writing this stuff that I think, is funny stuff or whatever. And I'm getting nervous, because I'm like, people paying this lady to come see her. They know she funny. She gonna let me open up for her. And if I'm not funny, what they gonna say about her? Because they don't know me. I can go back to my eyebrow life, But it was, we end up having, I think, 4 shows. And the guy that owned the place, he came up to me and he said, I've seen all of the greats do this. And he said, I'm going to tell you. He said, how long you been doing acting? How many shows have you had? And I said, well, this is my first show. And he was just like, really? And he's like I said, he's like, the first time you've ever been on a show? I'm like, this is literally my first show. And he was just like, I'm telling you, keep going. Okay. And so for me, I'm like, okay, he don't have anything to benefit from me, telling me that. He came out of his way to tell me that. And so when I got on the stage, everything that I thought I was going to say, all of that went out the window, because I what I told my kids is I don't want to sound scripted, so I looked at the audience and I just talked about things that happened in my life. And after the show, people were coming up to me like, oh my God, like what are you gonna be on next or whatever? And I'm thinking to myself, shit, I'm barely on this, but I'll let you know, sis, But it really, like, being on that stage, it was just like, it was so peaceful but so invigorating. And it was like, if you've ever felt like I've arrived where I'm supposed to be, that stage does it for me. Like, I know I have to be a mom, I have to be a business owner, I have to be, but that stage, it just like ignites something in me, and to see people laughing, knowing that you don't know if they spent their last money to get here, you don't know.
To need that release.
And it's just a safe space where we can just laugh and nobody's thinking about anything, any troubles or whatever that we all go face when we go home. It did something to me.